Now I wish I could remember. It's Eric Clapton, I think it was. Like when he died, said we just lost the world's greatest guitarist, or he said something about Prince, like the greatest guitarist he ever seen was Prince. Somebody that
See, I
you would
remember
know,
him saying that about Jimi Hendrix. He
somebody
said
you
he
would
went
know.
and seen Jimi Hendrix in like some dive bar because he had been hearing about him in like England. He was touring, and he literally said he didn't play guitar for like 3 months after that because he was like, I can't even fucking compete. Like this dude just blew doors off everybody. He was like, I almost quit playing the guitar forever, dude, because that dude was so fucking good. You know what I mean? So that's what I've heard about Prince. Like as far as his performance, stage, everything, just incredible. But the only Prince I could really remember is the Purple Rain video, and then the Batman soundtrack for the first Batman movie. I had that shit. You know what I mean? Vicky Vale. Who's that? Vicky
I
Vale.
told my woman, I said, at the end, I'm gonna own everything Prince ever put out. She said, "You're gay."
He was the first dude to be like fucking polished eyebrows did all that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. What's that shit called? Androgyny.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jackson definitely was that guy too. But
Man, you know what's crazy? I looked at pictures of Michael Jackson. See, when he was Jackson 5, I was doing the little dances and shit. It's pictures of me. It's a fat little baby boy, hair French braided to the back, pointing just like Michael Jackson, doing all that shit. So I seen him go from Jackson 5
yeah, see,
to Thriller, and not just Thriller, On the Wall and all that shit.
yeah, my brother, I remember he literally had the record of the last Jackson 5 album they did where they were like walking through the city on the video. You remember that? They're all giants.
Can you breathe? What is it? Can you feel it? Dun, dun, dun,
I can't remember,
dun.
dude, but I just remember we used to play that record all the time, and then we had a little Play School record player, dude. And I remember we got in a fight over like some Star Wars guys or something. I picked it up and smashed it in a bunch of pieces, dude. And my dad fucking spanked me. I remember that shit. Shane was fucking super. And then that record's like worth some money now too, man. But yeah, we had Jackson 5 records. We had Michael Jackson. We had the Thriller record. Like we were about that shit, dude. I remember going to my buddy's house and his dad had like a shrine put up to that dude. Had all of his albums like in a glass case and shit. Like Michael Jackson was a big fucking deal when I was a kid, man. I don't think there's. I remember watching that Moonwalker movie a million times over, dude.
Look, after Remember the Times, do you remember when he did the shit?
Who was the bad guy in that? Not to cut you off.
Oh, fuck.
It was a big name actor. I want to say it was Dennis Hopper, but I might be tripping.
It wasn't Willem Dafoe. No, who the fuck was it?
Hopkins, the dude that played Mario on Mario and Luigi, wasn't it? The Mario Brothers movie. Dennis Hopkins or.
Damn it, I'm drawing a blank. Let me see.
He was on that movie Stay with Ryan Gosling. He was the blind psychologist. What's that dude's name? Anyways, I'm pretty sure that might have been the bad guy in it. But dude, that Moonwalker movie.
What the fuck is his name? Rucker Howard?
That's the dude from Lady Hawk, right? In Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
No, I don't think it was him, dude. But yeah, my mom used to like that guy a lot, Rucker Howard.
Way the fuck off. Remember after the Egyptian video, remember the time? The next thing that I was kind of interested in was just because it was him and Janet.
Scream.
That's
Yeah, I knew exactly what you were talking about as
Then
soon as you
after
said
that,
it.
It was really.
And that was the first time we saw him look like a complete chick. Because next to Janet, he looked just like her. And it was like, oh, shit, that dude really fucked his face up, dude.
They both look like
I remember thinking that. And that's what's crazy, too, though. That video was dope for the time, you know?
fucking.
And, yeah, I remember that. There you go. That's probably the last video I remember watching of Michael Jackson and being like, I wasn't, like, into Scream, but I remember thinking that's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was the last hurrah. Like, okay. And after that, he was for somebody else.
And Janet looked hot as shit in that video, dude.
Yeah, she's always been dope. She's always been dope. And that they looking like crazy rich Asians in that video.
Yeah, a little bit.
They had that vibe, man. But yeah, that was a sick documentary.
Wasn't she in a movie with Tupac, Poetic Justice or something?
Man.
Remember that shit?
Oh God.
I was just listening to Kendrick Lamar this week, and he had taken the piece of her song and fucking did a beat with it, and that shit was cold as fuck, man. But I hadn't thought about that movie in forever, dude. That was a big deal when it came out too.
Man, her and Tupac killed that.
That was that Maya Angelou was telling us that story about meeting him on the set of that, and saying that he wasn't a thug. He was a fucking. She told the whole story and then said who it was. It was like she said this dude came up acting all hard and shit, and she started talking to him and telling him like how influential he could be, and he could be all these things. And the dude just broke down and started crying and started really like telling her exactly how he felt about things. And when she realized like, oh, this is a really smart, intellectual man with like deep feelings, very artistic. He could fucking be anything he wanted in the world. And she told him that, and he started bawling. And she's at the end of the story, she was like, and that man was Tupac. Like, he was so much more than anyone could ever realize. Like, that dude was just on another level. He wasn't just this thug fucking dude running around, you know?
Yeah, if I play something for my song, if I play something for my son, I play this shit where that nigga's deep. You know, play like, listen to this, man. Tupac was fucking ill. You gotta listen to this shit.
See, that was another dude. I really never really got into him either, dude. Everybody was always pumping too. I was one of those people that, like, if everybody liked him, I was like, yeah, fuck those guys. You know what I mean?
That's what happened with me and Nas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I never got into Nas either, really.
Yeah, I think Nas is more of a regional success.
And like, I used to like the Fugees, and then they blew up, and I remember that chick Lauryn Hill came out and said, had I known all these white kids were going to be at our shows, I would have never started making music. So I was like, well, fuck that chick then. Yeah, she literally said that. I was like, fuck that chick then.
Yeah, way to cut half your fucking audience off. Good job.
More than half probably at the time, dude. You know what I mean? That's how Wu-Tang capitalized on shit, dude. They bridged the gap. It was just all races could be into them, dude. You know what I mean?
When I first noticed that, it was with Public Enemy. I'm dead serious. You know, they be showing Public Enemy shit, all this shit, and they be a crowd full of white folks loving the fuck out of the message. Loving the fuck out of the message. You know what? You're right. It is some bullshit going on. It's us against them. And they was loving the fucking message. I used to look at that and say, damn, look at this shit.
It's so interesting. I was just talking to Lex yesterday on the way home from the movies, and we were talking. I was telling him, like, hip-hop and punk rock are so fucking intertwined as far as, like, why I think people to this day will, and always, I think, will always love that, because it's from the streets. It's the counterculture to pop, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I say punk and hip hop are so much alike because punk rock is really that DIY ethic, and hip hop was that they would take, you know, listen to records and take 2 seconds out of this song, 2 seconds out of that. And I was telling him, back in the day, you had to be a dope ass motherfucker, and you had all your records there, and you had to switch them real quick, you know what I mean? And you had them marked, and you would scratch that little thing, have the drum beat from one other song, and just, you know, it was way different. Now they got all these electronic turntables like Shane has and all that shit, and DJs. I mean, I can't say anything because I'm not really into that DJ thing, so I can't say they're not real DJs, but to me it just seems like it's a lot easier, dude. You know what I mean? You don't see these dudes really scratching records anymore and shit like that, dude.
As close as I am from you, the room was set up small just like this. In Muscoy, my cousin Patrick's homeboy DJ Paul, this motherfucker used to kill that shit. Nigga, right there in front of your face, it was like seeing magic. Because you see, but you know what though? I'll take it one step better. It was like seeing a magician getting ready to go to stage.
Right.
Because he might flub on a trick in front of you, but you see where the end result is, and when you see the end result, you're like, what the fuck? I mean, nigga, I'm in arm's distance. He's going through the motions, trying to find I'm like, damn, he's killing that shit right there in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I was telling Lex, like, for a kid his age, he has a deep history and understanding of like older hip hop, dude. I wasn't, you know, I didn't have that, but like he's so into music. I've been pumping all this stuff, and then he's gone out and found people and showing people to me now, dude. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting, man. Hip hop's so big now. We grew up in the era where it was becoming what it is. Does that make sense? Yes. And I almost feel like it lost a little bit of that too, man. It's not the same as it was, but I mean, everything goes in peaks and valleys as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What was the first hip hop song that you heard that just like, oh shit?
Trying to think. I can remember the first tape we had, and I don't even know why. My fucking grandma got my brother Nathan this thing called Cool Raps. You know what? It might have been Colors, dude. Ooh. It might have been Colors that we just bumped over and over and over again. Because on that Cool Raps tape, it was so funny, dude. It had a frosty, like, ice sculpture of a frosty-ass nigga with a fucking boombox, dude. And it said Cool Raps on it, dude. And it was like the greatest hits at the time, you know, on one tape. And I just remember that Color song was on there, and I had that shit memorized. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of the jungle, just a gangster stalking, living life like a firecracker, quick as my fuse. You know what I mean? I was so into that shit, dude. Ice-T to this day I still love, dude.
Oh, man,
Even though he's sold out and he's on Law and Order, dude. You know what I mean?
Color.
Somebody said some cold shit about him, like how much of a conspiracy theory is that? One of the biggest gangster rappers became a fucking what do you call that when they fucking ingratiate you in the white culture, dude? Anyways, they got him so whited out that now he's a cop on fucking TV, you know what I mean?
Oh, that is cold, motherfucker, nigga.
Yeah.
The shit they could see.
What was your first rap song you really remember?
I remember Curtis Blow's Christmas rap and all that shit back in the day. That was some old school shit. But the first shit that fucked me, that fucked my mind. You know, it wasn't Sugar. It wasn't what's the name? What's the other shit too? Rapper's Delight.
Oh, see, now that you say that, I remember bumping that a lot too.
Yeah, I can remember that shit. But what fucked me up was my brother came home with Rockbox from Run DMC from junior high. I swear to God, he pressed play on the tape. He said, "David, listen to this. 4-2, 4-2, fresh." When Run DMC came out of there, Rockbox, nigga, I was done. See,
that was another band that I gotta admit I wasn't into till later. You know what I mean?
8 years old, done, and by the time I was 10, I was at their concert with an autographed poster of Run DMC.
Wait, you went and saw Run DMC?
Man, I went and seen Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Houdini, Timex.
No fucking way, you saw Beastie Boys?
Man, Ice-T, King T, Toddy T, Ice Cube, NWA, Tone Loc, Eazy-E, KRS-One.
Jesus Christ, was this a festival?
Hey, nah, nigga, no. These are all different concerts.
Oh shit.
All different concerts. Look.
So you used to be with rap like I was with hardcore. Like there was
jumped on stage and danced with Curtis Blow.
I think there's two hardcore bands that I've liked that I haven't seen, and one's Half Heart and the other one's well, they're not. I don't know if you would consider them hardcore, but the Hope Conspiracy and Most Precious Blood. Those three are the only ones that because they quit being a band. You know what I mean? Yeah. And a lot of them are from the East Coast, so they never really came over here. But everybody else I've been able to see, man. Agnostic Front, Madball, fucking Hatebreed, all these bands that I loved. That's what I loved about hardcore. These dudes weren't untouchable. You know what I mean? And after the show, you go talk to them and fucking chill with them a little bit, and you know, they weren't untouchable like fucking these huge pop stars are, dude. And I was telling I was just talking to you. Next month, I'm gonna try to take my son to his first hardcore show, cause he's all into that shit. And fucking all the other shows he's wanted to go to are like these fucking 21 Pilots and these huge bands. And I was telling Lex, like, you want to go to a little hardcore show, man, because we're going to go sit in a fucking seat, and I don't even know what you would do at one of those shows. You pay fucking 3 times the money, $120 a ticket, and then you go sit in a fucking seat and don't even move. Like, I don't even know what to do at one of those concerts, David. You know what I mean? That's why I love hardcore, dude. Like, I'll fucking go crazy at a show and pay like $20 to get in there, you know what I mean? And be able to meet those dudes after, you know what I mean?
And plus, like, they bring in that fucking energy.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. You should come with us, man. It would blow your fucking mind, dude. I'm gonna try to get Stan to go too, dude. Yeah. We'll have to see what happens, dude. But
you know, I gotta redact one. KRS-One didn't show up to the Curtis Blow event, so I didn't see KRS-One. So yeah, it's not. And I swear.
And that's your dude. I remember that.
My dude. Him and Chuck D. I swear. I'm serious. They gave a whole new light for a whole bunch of people out there. I'm gonna do a little more in depth on that one day because I got to get it all together in my head. But
who'd you used to go to shows with?
Me and Mooney. I was 8 and Mooney was 12.
Yeah, see, I went to a lot of shows with Stan, my brother. But it got to where all these dudes would flake on me, man, and I couldn't even tell you how many. Even when I was married, dude, when Lex was little, I couldn't even tell you how many shows I went to by myself, dude. And I would just like fucking be in the pit and kind of see certain dudes and be like, hey, can you watch my back? And they'd be like, yeah, dude, it's all good. And fucking that's what I love about hardcore too. Like those dudes, I don't know, man. You just meet people there and it's all good, dude. It's not like going to a metal show. Like I know you probably wouldn't know this, but like metal shows, it's a free for all, and everybody's there to try to fuck each other up. You know what I mean? There's something about hardcore and the community and like all that shit. Nobody's really necessarily there to fuck each other up. You know everybody's gonna be getting down, and you just accept that if you kind of get hit, you don't go off and fucking try to fuck somebody up over it. You know, it's just you got in there and you caught one, dude. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there has been little hardcore crews that come and ruin the fucking show and jump people and shit like that. But yeah, dude, that used to be my thing, man. I would roll to so many shows. I'd come back.